My insulin is just dancing around. It's been like 245 and 256. That's where it's...
Walking off the wood and breaking the chain. From the garden to the chicken coop lane. She's living her best life, watch again.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to be somewhat quiet because it's pretty early in our house today and mostly everyone's asleep. I woke up kind of early today. Pretty early today, which is, good, not a bad thing. I'm just changing out both my sensor. That's the sensor. Changing out my Medtronic Guardian 4 sensor. And then also gonna do a new infusion set. Again, I should have changed this a while ago, but I did the thing where I get it to last a little bit longer, and here we are. So I did go ahead because Medtronic does have 2 new sensors out along with the Guardian 4. I think I'm getting the Instinct, but I won't get it till like sometime in November. Oh, you know what? I didn't put that barrier tape down, but it'll be fine. Anyway, I am getting it's the Abbott Instinct that will work with the Medtronic 780G pump. I did get that in, but again, I don't think it starts shipping out until sometime in November, but if I get it, I will show y'all, how it works. What am I looking for? Oh, do I have all, I never seem to have like everything in front of me, but that's okay. And so yeah, my sensor stopped late. I should have changed it before I went to bed because sometime during the middle of the night it did end. It got to the end of its life or whatever, and so I do need to. And of course that causes some elevation. I've had, for whatever reason, post Wednesday, my glucose has been somewhat elevated. I mean, it's not like crazy elevated, but I think some of it is probably due to stress. I'm gonna just continue to monitor because I did my Zepbound shot on Wednesday. I'm still on 5.0 of Zepbound. I did it on Wednesday, and the blood sugar has been elevated. Has had some elevation since that time, so I'm just gonna kind of monitor it throughout this week. I do have 2 more injections of 5.0 Zepbound in my current prescription, and so I'm going to kind of monitor to see if the elevation continues through those next 2 injections, if that's kind of an indicator that if I need to titrate up, because as far as food noise suppression, satiety, all that stuff, I've not 5.0 is still good for me. I think, again, my main concern is whether or not the impact on my blood sugar is any indication that I need to titrate up. The other thing, I've kind of have caused myself to just be very stressed this past week. And I'm glad Michelle Mirror is doing the self-care challenge, because I need to, in a situation that's beyond my personal control, other than the immediate things I can control around me. And with that reality, I just kind of need to not get so worked up about things that I can't control, because it does impact my blood sugar and the elevation. So yeah, so I need to just going to do a lot of deep breathing today, probably sit on the porch again, this time read a good book, read a fun, relaxing book. I am trying to decide, kind of content-wise. I know it's the whole Vlogtober thing, but, and I think you've heard this from different people. I know Kim J, Sweet Healthy Life, has talked about this, and we've heard it from others. I'm a I'm a quality over quantity type of personality. And it's not to say I am not, well, I am no YouTube pro or anything like that. But I want, I want to kind of I think, again, even in the midst of this Blogtober and this whole vlogging every day and all that other stuff, is it fun? 100%. If there's an idea and I can share it, why not? Content is content. But there's something to be said about focusing on quality and not so much on quantity sometimes, in the chase for whatever it is any individual is chasing for. So I want to kind of think through how I organize and release content. I kind of want to have focus days, days where I, release chicken related stuff, days I release garden related stuff, days I release things related to the type 1 and the GLP, and then potentially days I release, food or meal prep. I don't do true meal prep. I just kind of show y'all what I buy and then what I make into it. But if there is something unique or something kind of fun about the meal prep, then of course I do show that, like pizza and pasta. But I just want to make sure I'm managing the things I do very wisely and not just, releasing stuff just for the sake of, whatever. So, and that there's some, I kind of like the idea of managing expectations, right? So, Thursdays can be my well, I'm not going to wait that late in the week to release chicken stuff, but, certain days can be when I, do chicken stuff. Certain days can be when I do, and kind of pick those days. But also know that when something comes up or something interesting, there's flexibility for that. But I don't want to overexhaust people with, things that may not be relevant to everything it is that I want to do. So yeah, so that's that. Again, updating my reservoir, trying to see how long I was able to keep this particular reservoir in. Let's see, I started this one October 12th. And okay, so, and it's now October 17th, so about 5 days. And I do have, let's see how much insulin. I have 37 units, so it would have lasted the rest of the day. So that's pretty, the fact that I have been able to get 7 or 8 days out of this, and I'm changing this after about, what do we say, October 12, 5 days, that's a good indication that, my blood sugar has been elevated, and it's been needing to do its, give me insulin more than the last couple of months on Zepbound. So yeah, so I got to kind of take a look at whether or not, again, is it stress? Is it stress? Is it the dosage? Is it all of the above, right? Just kind of take a look at everything. But sorry, my nose itching. Let me get some water. And then my blood sugar was elevated today, or this morning when I woke up, simply because, again, the sensor had gone off, and it just sort of does a manual basal rate, and so it's not catching it every time it gets, because there's not a sensor active, it's not catching when it becomes elevated. It's just trying to kind of maintain a basal rate. So yeah, my blood sugar was pretty elevated this morning. So in the past, that, did it bother me? Sure. Was it like, oh, there's, beta type 1, but the fact that I've had such success with my blood sugars while on Zepbound is just a concern. But again, I'm going to keep an eye on it these next couple of days through Tuesday. And then, like I said, I have 2 more Zepbound shots in this current box, and I'm just going to see if I remain where it's staying in the 130s, 140s on my blood sugar because I was getting readings between 80 and 120 these last couple of months. And so I've just got to, again, is that my personal indicator that I need to go up in dose? Because the things as far as food noise, food suppression, food satiety, all those things are tracking and not an issue. Okay, so all this stuff is loading up. I'm going to try to get a workout in this morning. More than likely, I'm going to do some hanging out on the porch time, try to read a good book, all those things. But I did want to show you, because I did bring this up during our behind the scenes this past Monday on the A1C, where we had a guest, Reset with Anissa and Kim J, Sweet Healthy Life. They were our guest this past Monday. And I had mentioned a couple of books that I highly recommend that people, whether you're any type of diabetic or someone who's diabetic, 1 or 2 in your life, I highly recommend that these are books that you have in your library and check them out. This is probably the more scientific of the two, but it's Think Like a Pancreas, and it's by Gary Schneider, who's an MD. And he concentrates on diabetics. He's a type 1 himself. This is the 3rd edition of this book. It was first published in 2004. Then again, 2nd edition was 2012, and the most recent, this 3rd edition is 2020. And in the book, they talk about, I'm not sure if I'm showing you the right page, but they talk about GLPs. And for me, it probably gives the best explanation. I'm not going to read it here. Highly recommend that you get the book. But on here, it gives 4 reasons why these GLPs are so, what they do on the body. And I think it gives probably one of the best succinct explanations of how it impacts, again, whether you're diabetic or not, how it impacts blood sugar, your blood sugar, pancreas, and then digestion and things like that. And so again, really good book. It also just breaks down, I'm trying to get to some of the chapters in the book so you can kind of see, hopefully you can see that, what the different chapters are in the book. So really good book. Gets pretty sciencey, but again, if you're type 1, type 2, any type of diabetic, this is a really good book, and I encourage you to read it. If you want kind of just that quick guide, if you will, kind of get you started, kick started, this is, and I would agree with the title of this book. Again, this is called Bright Spots and Landmines, and it's the Diabetes Guide I Wish Someone Had Handed Me. And this is by Adam Brown. He also has a website that he manages called the Diatribe, and it's www.diatribe.org. Mr. Snyder also has a website called integrateddiabetes.com, and they do a lot of news, things like that. But again, it's called integrateddiabetes.com. Highly recommend this book as well. This guy is actually, so Mr. Schneider, he's a certified diabetes care and education specialist, insulin pump, CGM, hybrid closed loop user, trainer, and exercise physiologist. And again, it's Integrated Diabetes Services. And he works with users worldwide via the internet and the phone. And then Adam Brown, again, he was diagnosed with type 1, and really just smart approach to, a very smart approach to handling diabetes. The chapters in this book are pretty straightforward, but food, mindset, exercise, and getting a good night rest, all the things that impact diabetes. And it's a nice little guide at the end of every chapter, or at the beginning of every chapter. He does kind of a little summary, And then at the end of each chapter, after he does the summary, there's he kind of does a quick sort of questions, like quick questions you can ask yourself. And then where you can fill stuff in. So yeah, really nice. It asks about what bright spots, what bright spot questions you can ask yourself, like things that are going well, what landmine questions, like things that, you need to kind of reflect on. And that's a really good book. And it's in this book that, especially the exercise, because I think y'all heard me talk about sort of the 1-to-1 ratio of activity to the impact on blood sugar. And this is the book that kind of he breaks it down depending on like the type of exercise you're doing, what kind of he uses himself, so keep that in mind. But he gives some he gives some summaries as to what someone can expect. Again, he uses he's very savvy in that he says a lot of I statements, but it's definitely something you can learn from. So, and it's just a really good book, like when you should kind of maybe pause from exercising depending on how your blood sugar is elevated, and when elevated or too low, right? Kind of things to keep in mind, and then how to treat it and how to deal with it. But both of these are really good books. Highly recommend each of them. If you're a diabetic or has or someone that is a diabetic in your life, highly recommend these two books. Okay, so I think I'm all hooked up. My sensor started, my insulin started. I'm gonna pretend to do my here, hold on real quick, because I'm using props to hold this camera up because I'm not a professional. So I'm just going to do my old quick meter while my sensor's warming up, because again, elevated blood sugar. Again, lessons learned is change your sensor before you go to bed when you know you need to. Do your insulin pump reservoir before, going into the night. All these things I know that I don't do. Yeah, and my insulin is just dancing around. It's been like 245 and 256. That's where it's been hanging out since I woke up. So I'm probably gonna not work out this morning. Well, not first thing. I'm gonna drink some more water. It is really good when your blood sugar is elevated to get a lot of water in you. It helps with the cells, because your cells are basically starving for insulin, so drinking water will just kind of help keep your cells calm down a bit. Okay, so that will work itself out. Okay. This isn't a place I've never been before. You just gotta, I tend to check it every 30 minutes and then just kind of treat it. Basically, I become my own insulin pump until it goes. I probably should do every 15 minutes, to be honest with you, but I'm going to do every 30 for now. And then just kind of, once my insulin pump kicks in gear, it'll start doing its job and everything. So that's the story that I'm sticking to. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Like I said, I'm going to try to kind of, I need to bring the stress down. That's in my head. So I'm going to kind of focus on that. Well, not focus on stress, but focus on just, like I said, the self-care. I'm going to sit on the porch, read a book, get in the garden, of course, hang out with the chickens. Yeah, I think that's kind of the goals for today. And then, as I said, through the weekend, I'm going to kind of think through sort of how I want to manage the whole, the content that I'm delivering, because I want to be a little bit smarter about what I'm doing. And, yeah, I want to be a little bit smarter about what I'm doing. Okay, that's it. I hope everyone has a really wonderful day today. And as always, I appreciate you coming, listening to anything that I share on here. I'm encouraged. And just have a really good and blessed day. Talk to y'all later.